The 1930 World Cup was, of course, the first one. The only one that had invited teams. So, well, at least all of them were invited. None of the teams qualified for this World Cup. And, I mean, well, technically, there's still not every team qualifies for the World Cup because of the hosts, but, like, not even just the hosts didn't qualify. None of the teams here did. Well, what were the matches? What happened in the World Cup from match 1 to match final? Yes. And we're actually going to go over goal scorers too, because I can. So, the first match of the 1930 FIFA World Cup was between the neighbors from the south, the United States of America, and Belgium. First goal was scored by Bart McGahee in the 23rd minute, Tom Flory in the 45th, and Bert Paternaude in the 69th. Those are the least American names I think I've ever heard, but they scored. Congrats. And all Google has for the timeline is the goals, which, to be fair, like, how would you even know when they scored the goals? You know? Anyways, then the next match was between France and Mexico in Group A. First goal scored by Lucien Lorrain in the 19th minute. Then Marcel Languillère in the 40th. And André Machinot in the 43rd. Juan Carreño then scored in the 70th. And then André Machinot in the 87th. 4-1 win for France. Next up, Yugoslavia beat Brazil 2-1. First goal scored by Alexander Tramanic in the 21st minute. And then Ivan Beck in the 30th. And Brazil scored through Preguinho in the 62nd minute. Romania and Peru. First goals actually scored in the first minute by Albert Deschamps. That's crazy. The next goal was a Peruvian goal. That's crazy. By Luis de Souza. Okay. Konstantin Stankiu then scored in the 79th minute. And Nikolai Kovac in the 89th minute. 3-1 for Romania. There was a red card through Placido Galindo in the 70th minute. Then we have a whole different match day. Match day 2. Argentina beats France 1-0. The only goal scored by Louis Monti. So, yes. Chile beat Mexico. And the first goal was scored by Carlos Vidal. I wonder... Wait. Is Arturo Vidal related to this guy? What was his name? Carlos Vidal. I don't know. And then Manuel Rosas in the 51st, and then Carlos Vidal again in the 65th. Manuel Rosas was actually Mexican on goal there. I wish it was like some people just wrote comments. Like, I know there was no internet back in 1930, but if someone could just like write a comment nearly a century later, you know how hilarious it would be to write? Like, I don't, like, there's definitely going to be some people saying, oh, I watched this on my TV back in 30 or something. Or, what a great game, it's in the 87th minute. There's going to be people like that. It's funny. Yugoslavia beat Bolivia 4-0. Ivan Beck in the 60th. Blagoje Marjanovic in the 65th. Ivan Beck again in the 67th. That guy must have been good. And Dordi Vojadinovic scored in the 85th. Crushing win there for Yugoslavia. Next match, the U.S. beat Paraguay 3-0. All three were scored by Bert Paternaudi guy in the 10th minute, 15th minute, and the 50th minute. That's a big oof at the Park Central for Paraguay. Uruguay beats Peru. Finally, the hosts, and of course, event. First goal scored by Hector Castro in the 60th minute. Poor Peru there, eliminated from the World Cup. Chile, France. Chile beats the French 1-0. Guillermo Subiarbre scores for Chile. Argentina, Mexico was 6-3. The first goal was scored in the 8th minute by Guillermo Stabilier. Yeah. Then Adolfo Zumalazu scored in the 12th minute. Guillermo Stabiliega scored in the 17th minute. Then Manuel Rosas scored in the 42nd minute via penalty, but it wasn't enough as Argentina made it 5-1 through Francisco Varallo. Actually the last guy to die who was at the World Cup in 1930, 53rd minute, and Adolfo Zumelzu in the 55th, before Roberto Gayon scored in the 65th and 75th, making it 5-3, but then Guillermo Stabilier scored in the 80th minute. That must have been a really interesting match. 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 3-1, halftime, 4-1, 5-1, 5-2, 5-3, 6-3. That must have been a really good match to watch. But of course, I wouldn't be able to watch it, and neither would none of my living relatives be able to either. Brazil-Bolivia 4-0. Moderato scored in the 37th minute and 73rd, while Preguinho scored in the 67th and 83rd. At least these guys can't be mad at me for mispronouncing their name, because clearly they're all dead, you know. Paraguay beats Belgium 1-0. Luis Vargas Peña scored in the 40th minute. That must have been a heartbreaking but boring game for Belgium. Uruguay beats Romania 4-0. Pablo Dorado scored in the 70th minute. Hector Scarone scored in the 24th minute. Perugino Anselmo scored in the 30th. And Pedro Cia in the 35th. Romania must have thought there were more goals on the way, but I guess Uruguay just wanted to pipe down. And the last group stage match, Argentina-Chile, first goal was scored in the 12th minute by Guillermo Stabile, and then the 13th minute by the same guy. But then Guillermo Subabre, a totally different guy, scores in the 15th minute, and Mario Evaristo scored in the 51st for the Argentines. And the group stage finished like this. Argentina advancing to the semifinals over Chile, France, and Mexico in Group A. Yugoslavia advancing to the next round over Brazil and Bolivia in Group B. Uruguay advancing to the next round in Group C over the likes of Romania and Peru. And in Group D, the U.S. topping the likes of Paraguay and Belgium. Every single one of the teams went on, at least won every single game. Something that we probably will never see again. Like, every team. Actually, no. We can never see that again, because now 2 teams goes through instead of 1. That's crazy, though. Semifinals, Argentina gets drawn up against the U.S. and Uruguay against Yugoslavia. Argentina beats the U.S. 6-1. The first goal was scored by Luis Monti in the 20th minute. Alejandro Scopelli in the 56th. Apologies there for the voice crack. Guillermo Stabiliega scored in the 69th. Carlos Puselle scored in the 80th and 85th. And then Guillermo Stabile in the 87th, making it 6-0. But then Jim Brown was like, I'll score. And he scored in the 89th minute. Like, what are these American names? They don't sound anything like what America would sound like. And Uruguay beat Yugoslavia. The first goal, though, this time was scored by Yugoslavia. Dorde Vuhadinovic scored in the 4th minute. Pedro Cia scored in the 18th. Then Perugino Anselmo scored in the 20th minute. And then the 31st minute, Santos Iriarte scored in the 61st. And then Pedro Cia in the 67th and 72nd, making it 6-1 for Uruguay. There was no third place match, but people keep on saying U.S. got third, U.S. got third. And the only reason why they say that is an alphabetical order, a rule that is shouldn't exist. I think personally Yugoslavia should have got third, because at least with the U.S., they scored in the 89th minute. It was clearly a consolation goal. But with Yugoslavia, they thought they could actually win the game with that goal. So I think Yugoslavia, personally, should be regarded as getting third. But the final, this is what everyone actually cares about. Uruguay versus Argentina. First goal was scored by Pablo Dorado, making it 1-0 to Uruguay in the 12th minute. In the 20th minute, Argentina equalized 1-1 through Carlos Puesel. Wait, they have Google pages? Yo, they actually do, bro. And it tells me when they died, their height. That's crazy. Just makes me look like a stalker, doesn't it? It became 2-1 to Argentina via Guillermo Stabilie in the 37th minute, but then it turned to 4-2. 2-2 in the 57th through Pedrocia. In the 68th, 3-2 to Uruguay, Santos Iriarte. And 4-2, Hector Castro in the 89th for Uruguay to lift the first ever World Cup on home soil. Any news? Oh, no, these are just news for 2022. The bracket, sports data is temporarily unavailable. Players. That's 2022. This is not fun. Stats. We can see the stats. Okay, so only one red card in the entire thing. It does not show me assists. It does not show me any yellow cards, but there were no yellow cards. It doesn't show me assists. It just shows me red cards and goals. The only red card, of course, as we mentioned, was from Placido Galindo from Peru. And top goal scorer, we're just going to read out top 3. Third place was Bert Petinaude from the USA. Second place, Pedrocia from Uruguay. And Guillermo Stabilie, of course, with 8 goals, gets the Golden Boot in the first ever World Cup competition. When did he die? December 26, 1966. Rest in peace to literally everyone that played in the 1930 World Cup. Yeah. I think I might want to turn this into a series. Who knows? But, I mean, like, people would know about the recent ones. I don't care. 1930, whatever. Peace.